Buenos dias, familia. Good morning, family. It's a wonderful day to be here. I'm very excited. My name is Nancy Lopez, and I'm professor of sociology here at the University of New Mexico. I also direct the Institute for the Study of Race and Social Justice, and have had the pleasure of working with my colleagues right around me as a co-chair of the UNM 2020 Complete Count Committee. And we are so excited that you're all here because we need your help. You are our trusted messengers on the urgency of a complete count for the future of New Mexico and our country. And I want to emphasize the urgency of not only counting people, but also having good data for civil rights enforcement on race, ethnicity, gender, and tribal status, etc. I also urge you to visit the website for the Institute for the Study of Race and Social Justice. We have a lot of links there and information, race.unm.edu, and to think about reading an article I wrote for theconversation.com called "The Census Bureau Keeps Confusing Race and Ethnicity." It has 37,000 downloads, and it really tells you why it's important to answer that question in the following way. What is your street race for civil rights enforcement? If you were walking down the street, what race do you think other Americans who do not know you would automatically assume you were based on what you look like? And that data will help us understand whether or not there's violations in voting rights, fair housing, equal employment, education, health, etc. So I welcome you, and the way that this will work this morning is that we have several speakers, about 15, maybe even 20 speakers, who will share their 2-minute soundbite on why the census and an accurate count is urgent for our state. Thank you.
Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Tabitha King. I'm currently working at the Community Engagement Center, and I just wanted to explain 3 critical points of why the census is important to UNM. The first one being that it's tons of money that we'll be losing per person. The estimate right now is $3,470, and if you think about that calculation per person, that would be about $40,000 over the next 10 years that we would be losing. Just wanting also to reiterate that there won't be a citizenship question, as we know that our state has a lot of different personalities, different groups represented who may be undocumented, and we just want to let you know that there won't be a citizenship question at this time. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Catherine McGill, and I'm the chair of the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Complete Count Committee, and I'm here today to remind everyone here assembled and all of those who are going to see this news conference later that the 2020 census is the best way to create a level playing field for everyone in New Mexico, where we are all completely equal. That is our goal. So no matter who you are, whether you are currently unhoused or you live in the most expensive mansion in the Rio Grande, no matter what the color of your skin, and no matter who you love, the 2020 census is a good investment of your time and attention. There are only 9 questions on the census, and it will require just about 10 minutes to complete. 9 questions, millions for your community. And we had one of our social media managers who said, 9 questions, 10 minutes to complete, millions for your community. You do the math. Truthfully, I'd like all of us to become census ambassadors. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of hearing that New Mexico is at the bottom of so many bad lists and the top at the bottom of so many good lists and the top of so many good ones are bad ones. We want to be leaders in transportation infrastructure, in affordable housing, in early childhood education, and food and wage security. And improving our response to the 2020 census is the best way to make New Mexico better. In the final analysis, it's up to you. The money, the power, and the respect that is owed to you personally and to the state of New Mexico is literally in your hands. Tell everybody you know that the 2020 census is the most important thing we will do in the next 10 years for the state of New Mexico. And as they say in our hood, don't sleep, New Mexico. Respond to the 2020 census. And I just want to thank you in advance, all of you, for doing your part, doing what you can do to make New Mexico better. I know we can do it, and I thank you in advance for getting it done.
Good morning. I'm Robert Ratigan. I'm the Interim Director of Geospatial and Population Studies here at UNM. I'm also the State Demographer for New Mexico, and I have a few words on behalf of Governor Lujan Grisham's Complete Count Commission. I just want to remind everybody how safe, important, and easy the census is. It's safe because, as we were reminded, there is no citizenship question on the census, and even if there were, every census response is protected under federal law and cannot be shared with the ICE, with the FBI, or the CIA. Your response is important because it will be used to determine political representation in Congress, in the state legislature, in county commissions, and in city councils. It is important because it means New Mexico will get its rightful share of federal funding for schools, health care, roads, and assistance for families in need. The census is important because we live in the most diverse state in the country, but everyone must complete their census for us to understand the true demographic composition of our state. The census is easy and it takes less than 10 minutes to complete. Everybody will have the opportunity to respond either online, by phone, or by paper. And the paper option will be available in both English and Spanish. The online and phone versions are available in 12 different languages, and there's language assistance guides in 60 different languages. So please help spread the word to your friends and family and neighbors, and offer assistance to anybody who needs it. Whether that's a foreign national who doesn't realize that they're supposed to complete the census, or it's your grandparents who need assistance with the technology, or anyone who might need assistance with language or accessibility. Please complete your census because we're all important and we all count. Thank you.
Yate bene, she Palomari Herbert Inisha, Neobani Schlip, but Datni Bashishin, Nakaidene, Dashite. Good morning. My name is Paula Marie Herbert, and I am the co-chair for the Urban Native Complete Census Committee. Also, I'm a UNM grad student. I'm the Americans for Indian Opportunity Operations Manager, among other things, Indian ANSI, you name it. I just wanted to come here today to tell you how important it is for our urban Native population to fill out the census. The Albuquerque actually has the largest concentrations of Native communities in the U.S. A third of our state's Native Americans actually live in the city, and we have 400 plus tribes represented here in Albuquerque. And of course, we all know that many of our communities of color are historically underfunded and undercounted. And this year, for Census 2020, we're pushing to get our communities to go out, fill out the census, to reiterate that it's safe and that it brings in funding for our communities, not only here in the city, but also around the U.S. where our tribal communities are located. So it's a double kind of count, if you will. The census actually provides data about Native Americans to the federal government, so we're relying on that count to be accurate so that our count for our communities is accurate. And so fill out the census, encourage your families to, and we are here and we will be counted. Thank you.
Ayuki, hello. My name is Sharina Baker. I'm half Southern Ute, half Karuk, and I grew up in an area where we were considered about 80 to 95% in poverty. I grew up where there was a kind of like way of we don't want to show that we're, we don't want to be there, and like they don't listen to us anyway. They don't count us anyway. So why are we even going to fill out the census? And and it wasn't everybody in my family, and it wasn't everybody that I was around, but it definitely was around me to where it kind of put that energy in that, like, oh, so they don't really count us, so we don't really matter. And as a child, this was in 2000, I was 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade in 2000 when they were filling these out, or before the 2000 census. And it kind of put an impression that like Native people didn't matter, and that's completely wrong. And so I'm here today as a student, as a grad student. I'm working on my PhD in the language literacy, social cultural studies, and emphasis on American Indian education. And I'm here to represent Native people and to be a voice for them and say that you do matter, and you you are just as important as anybody else in this world. And if you go and by participating with the census, you are not only helping communities helping the government allocate funds for your communities. As a marginalized group, I feel that it is much, much important to represent and to do the data properly within our community, especially in urban communities. And another thing is with coronavirus happening, like this is how we can help the CDC and everyone prepare for how many people they need to prepare for if there is an epidemic. And also with the education system, this is how we can allocate a lot of money towards our children. Like we're not only doing this for us as adults, but as for our children as well and our future children. And so with that being said, just go out there and fill out the census. It only takes a little bit of time and it's really important and it matters. You matter. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Raina Davis. I work at the Women's Resource Center. I'm going to recite a poem. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Skin like dirt, you knew as people. We would grow perhaps crooked, but upward nonetheless. Heels like roots, our bodies knew home just as the earth made it so. It's why our feet feel so familiar with the ground when we dance. Our words plant seeds. Germinate teachings, you can hear it in our heartbeat. In our black magic sorcery when winter passes and my grandparents resurrect the dead, creating life infinitely with the dirt from under their fingernails. Don't tell me, my people don't know transformation. When mi abuelita tills the earth with her breath until her lungs bleed, she shows me. My legacy grows tall and strong, but it does not stay where it is planted because she shows me it was never meant to. My legacy blooms transformation with a slight flick of rib cage. Tongue como tierra, I spit soil nutrient and tender. I build homes in my mouth to create poems as a garden. I feed people with the metaphors I cultivated with the dirt I was fed some days. It's all I've ever known how to do. My survival is rooted in getting my hands dirty. Pushing seeds so far between my teeth I have no choice but to uproot the roses in my throat that have outgrown me. Transformation means removing things that do not serve you even if they are beautiful. It means making room for yourself to grow. My grandpa pulls weeds in our front yard. He knows we seldom have visitors, but he always wants to make sure our bare feet have a place to rest, to make sure we have room to grow. Thank you. So, also, I work at the Women's Resource Center here on campus. We serve both students and community members, and one of many things that the census impacts that we utilize the most is SNAP and Medicaid. So we help folks fill out SNAP, also known as food stamp applications, and the census count directly affects the allotment for those programs. So let's make sure we get a complete count. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brandell Mills, and I am the media specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau. I'm here today on behalf of the Bureau to kind of echo what my colleagues have already said. We know that in the New Mexico community that representation matters, and that representation is our sense of advocacy, our sense of power. And so just starting next week, March 12th, you will start receiving those postcards in the mail. And so we're here to advocate for you to respond to those census questionnaires, because we know that that data is connected to job creations, it's connected to our healthcare systems, other federal programs that we all utilize throughout the state. And so we want to emphasize the importance of utilizing your voice, utilizing your power to respond to the census, because it certainly will have a positive impact for the next 10 years. So imagine not having those dollars, not having that access to that federal funding for 10 years. It's essential that we mobilize our communities, that we mobilize everyone in our neighborhoods, our family members, etc., because this data is extremely important. And as I started, representation matters, and we want to make sure that we are represented, that we are seen, and that we are also heard. Thank you.
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Erick Hernandez y soy un miembro del comité del 2020 Census. Aquí estoy como estudiante y como hispano para decirles a todos, a nuestra comunidad, que no va a haber una pregunta de ciudadanía. Repito, no va a haber una pregunta de ciudadanía. Queremos que todos nuestros familiares, nuestros amigos cuenten. Así que si usted y su familia, asegúrense que llenen el formulario del 2020 y que le digan a sus amigos para que nuestra comunidad cuente y agarre las cosas necesarias para nuestro movimiento. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Rogers and I represent UNM Hospitals as well as Wellston Foundation. I'm also the co-chair of the African American Complete Count Committee, and I'm here to appeal to the folks like me that are mixed with African American and Hispanic or Latina, Native American, any combination. We need you on this 2020 census to check black. The reason is because we are sick in this state of being considered statistically insignificant. Yes, I have heard that when I go to the legislature or ask for money specifically for the African American community. I am told because we are less than 3% that we are statistically insignificant, and I am sick of it. So we need your help. There is 9% other right now, according to the 2010 census in New Mexico. I'm willing to bet those folks are mixed like me and don't want to deny their mother or their father. But let's be real. In New Mexico, for me specifically, there's a lot of resources for my Hispanic side. There are not for black. So for me, on the 2020 census, I'm going to be checking black because we need to show we have more than 3% here, because we do. So I urge my African American community to get involved. This matters. This is something that we can actually do and accomplish by giving 10 minutes of your time to complete that census, not only for you, but for every single child that's in your household. And also urging your neighbors, your friends, your church members, your sorority, fraternity brothers and sisters to all complete the census starting March 12th online. If you don't want people knocking on your door to tell you to fill it out, do it March 12th, get it over with, and you won't have anybody knocking on your door to remind you to complete the census. So again, please, if you are black in this state, check black. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Mateo Gonzales, and I am a senior here at the University of New Mexico. I am here as a student at UNM to encourage other UNM students to fill out the 2020 census. It is imperative that we encourage our family members, our community members, to fill out this 2020 census. For all of the out-of-state students who are attending the University of New Mexico, if you spend the majority of your time here in New Mexico, it is important that you fill out the New Mexico 2020 census. Please remind family members that the citizenship question will not be asked, and I welcome every UNM student to our block party event that we will be hosting here on campus on April 1st. Thank you.
Hola, hola a todos. My name is Fernanda and I'm currently the advocacy lead with the New Mexico Dream Team. We're the largest immigrant youth-led organization here in the state of New Mexico, advocating for my fellow undocumented, immigrant, mixed status families here in the state. This census season, our team is focusing on educating and spreading the message that our communities deserve to be counted, and that it is our responsibility to ensure that the next generations have the resources they deserve. It is important to shift the narrative in our immigrant communities away from fear-mongering politics of Trump's citizenship question and move towards highlighting the importance of our responsibility to get counted. We hope to increase the number of our people from our immigrant communities that are counted this Census 2020, more specifically through the act of self-response. Our census efforts come from a place of importance and necessity. The New Mexico Dream Team is assisting the many other organizations with census work because of the evident fact that we are simply being undercounted, falling short. New Mexico must have an accurate census count, and it is the responsibility of all of us to ensure that billions of federal dollars are at stake here. Billions. While we as an organization have our own plan of census action, this is an effort that we must do collectively. Remind your family and friends that this is federal money that's at stake here, that's supposed to sustain New Mexico for the next 10 years. We have to make sure New Mexico gets every dollar it deserves, so please tell your abuelita, your tío, your prima. New Mexico loses close to 4,000 grand per person that is undercounted. Over a 10-year period, that's up to $600 million in funds. Start spreading the word, start with your family, share it with your co-workers, remind your friends, then remind them again, host a census party, just make it happen. New Mexico is so vulnerable to being undercounted, and we simply cannot afford that. Have a nice day, everyone.
Hi, buenos dias. Good morning, everybody. My name is Amber Espinos Angeles. I'm a junior here at the University of New Mexico. I'm coming as a student and as well as a community member from the South Valley. And I'm here to really say that you really do matter, because our population, Hispanic population, and just any community of people of color are really underrepresented. And I really want to emphasize that it is important, it's super important that you fill out the census, because not only are we being miscounted and underrepresented, but if this doesn't change, it's not going, the cycle is going to keep repeating itself. So please tell your family members, community members, and friends and family, please. And when it comes to community-based research, we really do need an accurate count in order for that research to be accurate, as well as furthering the studies of how to help our own community. So again, you matter, you count. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jorge Garcia and I'm with El Centro de la Raza. And so I'm just, I'm advocating for our brown, black, and red people to count ourselves in. We have been underrepresented and underfunded for a long time, and this is the opportunity that we have. And so this message is mostly also for our Hispanic or Spanish-speaking population. Nos tenemos que contar en el census. Si no lo hacemos, nuestras generaciones en el futuro son las que van a sufrir y las que van a seguir teniendo sistemas deficientes educacionales y de servicios en nuestras comunidades. Esta es la oportunidad que nosotros tenemos para que nosotros nos contemos en el sistema y el gobierno nos provea los servicios que necesitamos. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mark. I work here at the UNM Veteran and Military Resource Center. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I'm also currently serving in the New Mexico Army National Guard. First I'll speak a little bit more generally to everyone in New Mexico. We've heard all the reasons today why it's already important for us to be counted, from where we put roads, where we put schools, to how boundaries are drawn for political purposes, but also private business owners use the census data in order to determine where to place their business or how and when to market their goods and services to the population. So super important for our small business owners. Also, I'll speak a little bit more specifically to our veteran and service member community here in New Mexico. So I'll just let you know it would behoove you to count yourself in the census, right? It's mandated by law that you count yourself, so if you don't fill out the paper application or the online or the paper form or the online form, somebody is going to come knock at your door and ask you to fill it out, right? So it's super important that we all get counted just for all that funding and for all the other reasons that we've heard today. So I'll just keep it short and sweet. Just make sure you fill it out. Make sure all your battle buddies fill it out. Make sure you fill it out for all your children and especially for newborns often get undercounted. And then also a quick note for those who might be experiencing homelessness or who might be incarcerated or living in other group situations. There's a lot of information on the census website about how to be counted in those situations. So just make sure if you have any questions about that, the census website can answer all those for you. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'm Sophia Sanchez with Congresswoman Holland's office. I just want to let you know what efforts our office we're making. We have town halls, coffees with the Congresswoman throughout the month. We've been working with the census to have a census representative there at all of those town halls and office hours to either hire for the census and also when we start counting to get people there to help fill out the census. I just want to let all the organizations here know that we are here to help you. If there's an event that you want to do and you want our office there, we'll do our best to get the Congresswoman herself there. It's a very important effort to her, obviously, to fight for federal funding for our district. She loves to go knock doors. If anyone knows her, that is her bread and butter. So if you want us to organize with your group to have her go out and knock doors, she's a really great asset for that. So again, thank you all for being here, and please feel free to reach out to us. We're at 5th and Gold in the Sims building on the 6th floor. I'll be back there with our 2 interns if they want to raise their hands. And I have cards if you just want to get our contacts. Thank you.
Good afternoon, this is Susan Reagan, and I work with UNM Bureau of Business and Economic Research, where we work with a lot of different customers who come to us to access U.S. Census data. We work with a lot of researchers here at UNM, and census data is the gold standard, and a good census count is basic so that our researchers, both on main campus here and on North Campus with a hospital, have good data so they can do their research. It's important for our researchers. We also work with a lot of businesses. This data is vital so that small businesses who can't afford a big budget to pay a marketing company to do a multi-million-dollar assessment and survey of how to market their company. This data is what they go to show the banks that they need that loan to start up their small business or to grow their small business. So a good count is important for our businesses. You all know that a good count is important for our representation, and you all know that a good count is important for our financing. And so I want you to think about the fact that data is what runs our campus, what runs our businesses, and what helps our families. And I wouldn't be here talking to you if I didn't bring data. And I have data wheels from the U.S. Census Bureau. So if you are interested, these are data wheels that show data for the American Community Survey and how New Mexico and other states are side by side. So if you're interested, meet me over here. Thank you.
Okay, so if there's no one else, we'd like to thank you all, but end by just saying, come on folks, 10 minutes for 10 years of impact. It's not much to ask. And what we want to say to all of you is a bit of a call to action to you. You really need to, each one of you, at least reach out to 5 to 10 people, right? And spread the word as to why the census matters. Use the video that you're going to get. Use the information you have. Listen to what was said. There were some real vital, important points that you can use and share. So we want to thank you. We know that, your time is precious, so we're glad you're here. And so get counting.
And I just want to thank all of our amazing speakers. Can we just give a round of applause? And also invite you to the next event that we will be having, which is on the official Complete Count Day. And that's April 1st right here in the Cornell Mall from 11 to 2. We will have sign-up tables where you can actually fill out your census, but we will also have activities, music, food, etc., etc. But again, the real message is you are our trusted messengers. We really need you to mobilize and think about the most vulnerable, the most likely not to understand what the census is. As you know, it starts mid-March, the 12th, and it ends sometime in July. And after that, we live with those numbers. Even if they're inaccurate for 10 more years, we don't get a redo. So I want to invite you also to consider working for the census. We have flyers up here that explain how you can apply, but also remember that it is confidential, that anyone who reveals census data is subject to 5 years in prison, a $250,000 fine, and the data are not publicly available for 72 years. So we're talking about not in our lifetime, pretty much. So I want you to, again, think of any question that you have and bring it to us. We meet every 2 weeks. If you go again on race.unm.edu, you will see our meeting schedule, and come with your ideas. We need your ideas to mobilize for an accurate count. So thank you. I don't know if any of the other co-chairs would like to chime in.
Just to reiterate that this is important for UNM students, as various speakers have said. It's important for our financial aid, and given the current UNM financial situation, this is important that we get an accurate count for UNM. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.